So today we're going to be doing a Diablo 3 game design panel. I can't tell you how good it feels to actually say that. We've been waiting to tell you all about what we've been working on for a long time. So my name's Jay Wilson. I'm the lead designer of Diablo 3, and with me is Wyatt Ching, who's technical designer on Diablo 3, and Eric Dodds, senior designer, also on Diablo 3. So essentially this panel is all about our game design philosophy for Diablo 3, what our kind of core focus has been. So I'm going to start with a history of Diablo. The original Diablo was really the first of its kind. It was the first kind of action role-playing game. And it really reinvigorated the role-playing game market. Diablo 2, obviously, expansion really expanded upon the ideas in the original Diablo. And Diablo 3 is our next big step. So I'm going to go ahead and, that's just kind of a summary. I'm going to go ahead and get in a little bit down into the details of those. So these are kind of what made each game special. Diablo 1, really one of the first kind of mainstream games to do random items, random dungeons, and just have a lot of replayability through randomness. It was simple, action-based gameplay, and had a big focus on character customization. You know, you could do a lot with your characters, customize them in a lot of different ways, a lot of cool gear. So moving on to Diablo 2. Diablo 2 really expanded on Diablo by adding a lot bigger world, outdoor environments, larger world. They also really advanced in character classes. They focused on kind of much more unique character classes at the time. You know, barbarians and necromancers and Amazons were kind of very unusual, not the kind of thing you normally saw, you know, compared to your average, you know, warrior, rogue, thing like that. They had a very unique skill tree system, which has really kind of become a bit of the standard for the industry. It was really the original idea of which was based kind of off of a RTS tech tree. So this gets us into our Diablo 3 design goals. To summarize, we want to stay true to the Diablo experience, have amazing moment-to-moment action, really be an awesome action game, expand the role-playing game experience and make a better role-playing game than we've ever made before. And then we also have a lot of new systems, most of which we're not talking about today because, you know, we've got to hold some stuff back. But in the coming months, we've got a lot of really big surprises that we're going to show off. So starting at the spirit of Diablo and staying true to the Diablo experience. This is one of our biggest focuses. It's something we've always talked about, but it's also very difficult when you're taking a game like Diablo and Diablo 2. These are games that everyone loves. You know, they have a huge fan base. And the real question is, what exactly do you need to be true to? If you we could just make, you know, Diablo 2 again. And probably a lot of people will be happy with that, but what we really wanted to do was make sure that we made it enough like Diablo that the fans would be satisfied, but also made it original and gave it its own identity so that it would really advance the IP and the game rather than just kind of being a static kind of content update. So we tried to pick the things that we thought were really important, the things that we think, these are really the core of Diablo, and there are these things on the slide right now. Making a replayable role-playing game. That's one of our big focuses. That speaks a lot to randomness, making really powerful heroes engaged in epic scale combat, approachable gameplay, and a cooperative focus. And I'm going to boil down kind of into each one of these, so if I seem like I'm skimming on this page, it's because I go deeper. So replayability, this is really one of the keys to the Diablo series. So one of the things that's not really evident when we showed the gameplay demo this morning is there randomness in Diablo 3 like there was in Diablo 2? And absolutely, yes, there is. We focus on random environments. This video that's playing right now is actually an example of that. This is our DRLG system, which is essentially our system for creating random environments and dungeons and things like that. As you can see, it just scrolled through just tons of different combinations. It can pretty much put together almost an endless number of layouts and different combinations so that every time you visit a dungeon, it's a little different. But we also focused on a lot of other randomness, random monster encounters, random items, big focus. Higher difficulty levels, it's something from Diablo 2 and Diablo 1 that we'll definitely want to keep. We may expand, but how we actually do that we're not going to talk about today. And the last one is random adventures, which is basically a whole new feature that allows us to place random scripted events almost anywhere in the game world. And this is something that really supports kind of our idea of making a better role-playing game, a more interesting role-playing game, and something where the world feels more alive. We really felt like we needed to expand our randomness to be able to encapsulate this new feature. And we cover that a little bit further, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. So the next one is epic heroes, making heroes that are just over the top, crazy, cool, awesome, destructive powers. It's one of our biggest focus. I think it's the thing we're most proud of is as we focused on the Barbarian and the Witch Doctor in their development, what we really wanted to do is make characters that the player wants to be, that fulfill the fantasy of just playing these kind of epically powerful characters. Having really large-scale combat, lots and lots of monsters on screen, having characters that are designed to deal with lots of monsters who are just kind of huge and over the top, making them massively powerful, and not just by giving them just skills that are completely ridiculously overpowerful, but just generally making them feel powerful. Making sure that every impact is huge and has sound that backs it up and effects that make it feel just kind of crazy over the top. Making really strong and unique archetypes, also very important for us. We wanted to make sure that. And I think the Witch Doctor is a great example. One of our new classes. He's essentially, you say Witch Doctor, and you have an expectation of what that will do and what that character will be, and we feel that he lives up and even surpasses that expectation. And we feel like all these things are really a hallmark of Diablo 2. Diablo 2 had awesome characters. They were really powerful. They were really cool and distinctive. We felt like it was something that we could improve upon and make better. So, approachability. This was also one of the things that we talked a lot about in making Diablo 3. It speaks a lot to why Diablo 3 is an isometric game played from overhead view, like Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. We have a saying, if you can click a mouse, you can play Diablo. And we really wanted to maintain that. So, isometric gameplay, it's why we didn't make a first-person game. We didn't even explore the idea. We were like, oh, it's Diablo. It's going to be overhead. It's going to be awesome. So simple to learn. One of the things we really wanted to focus on was increasing the depth of the game. A lot of the kind of control improvements and combat changes that we've made really focus on that. And a real smooth difficulty curve. This is something that Diablo 2 especially did very right. The early game in Diablo 2 is very easy to get into. It's not too challenging. But as you get into Nightmare difficulty and Hell difficulty, you ramp the game up until it becomes a very challenging game. And that kind of very smooth difficulty curve that allows people to kind of play through the whole game, even if they're kind of a casual user, that's something we definitely wanted to maintain. So the next thing in staying true to the Diablo series is cooperative play. Competitive play always seems to get the focus when you talk about multiplayer games, and certainly competitive play is awesome. We definitely will have some form of competitive play. We're just not talking about it yet, but cooperative play is first and foremost our focus, and we feel a real key to why the Diablo series has done very well. Being able to play on Battle.net, being able to join your friends at any time. We have a lot of improvements to Battle.net. We have a whole new version of Battle.net that's going to premiere with StarCraft 2. You can be sure that everything that StarCraft 2 uses, we will try to take advantage of, and a whole bunch of other features as well. The new Battle.net is really awesome. And what it supports is easy communication, easy connection with other players, being able to matchmake, basically do all the things that you would want to do to be able to get online, find your friends, get into games with them quickly, and have a really great time.